Shalom, call Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, Bahashim Makadash, double homage to the elder apostles and elder bishops of GMS, even the elders that came before them that taught us is true. Shalom and salutations to all the brothers out pushing word and truth and in sincerity, the hopeful elect tabernacle of David. The Aquath that are listening, learning, being a pillar of rest. 144,000 and 1/3, the hopeful elect of Israel. The brother Yahshua back with the WW3 Daily Update. Shalom and salutations to you all. I got to stay on peace and safety, so because it's a farce. There's no ceasefire. Not if Ben Gavir and Schmotrich got anything to say about it. Fuck Netanyahu. He's a softy compared to those others. Anyway, 1 Thessalonians 5:3. For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them, as travail upon a woman with a child, and they shall not escape. That's what's gonna happen no matter what. Let's get this. Isaiah 34:16. Seek ye out of the book of the Lord and read. None of these shall fail. What does that mean? That means that peace and safety is not coming. None of these prophecies shall fail. None shall want her mate from a mouth that had commanded, and his spirit hath gathered them. None of these shall fail. None of these what? None of these prophecies. World War III is coming, baby. What prophecies? This prophecy. Rev 11. We're not done. This is usually how we close the session. Revelation 11:14, the second woe is past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly. That's a prophecy right there. Future prophecy. Coming quickly. We're there. Okay? So no matter what Jeffrey Sachs saving the world, Jeffrey Sachs saved the world. Donald Trump shared his video. Open-minded thinker one day ago, Jeffrey Sachs saves Iran's shocking military move sends Israel into total panic after Gaza's ceasefire. See what old Jeffrey has to say here. Take it away, Jeff.
Here's, of course, have normal relations with Israel. We can end this bloodshed, but it requires a state of Palestine living in peace next to the state of Israel. This is what all of the world has been saying for years, except the government of Israel under Net.
Jeffrey's a Jew, by the way. And if you see what's going on here, right, what you're going to see is those people that just committed the genocide try to say that, well, not all of us were about the genocide, so, so we're not really responsible. That's what they're doing with this move. If being very subtle too, you got to see what's going on from a spiritual and heavenly perspective.
And the United States government, which under Biden did every single thing that Netanyahu said. And so we gave up our foreign policy. Israel, under Netanyahu, pursued a radical foreign policy. War has spread.
And what you see here, okay, is Jeffrey Sachs is a small hat. He's an American small hat. So what this goes on to explain is how Jeffrey Sachs came in and exposed the Netanyahu government for being the devils that they are, and that somehow they have to be stopped. And Donald Trump stood up to Netanyahu and Ben Gavir and Schmotrich, right, and says, you guys got to stop bullying the world right now because it's getting out of hand. And they were forced to stand down, right? That's what the story is up to this point. Okay? And they're trying to leave us with that. And that was just Ben Gavir and Smotrich and Netanyahu. Those are the bad guys, not the Jews or not, the people, right? It's the Zionists, right? Now it's finger pointing time about who committed the genocide, right? Now it's finger pointing time. But guess what? Ben Gavir, I don't think Ben Gavir and Smotrich are done. When you understand the story, those two are the super, super hardline killers. And they're like this, oh, ceasefire, we quit. Do you quit or do you still have them codes? You still got them codes? You got them launch codes, right? See, you got to understand who the devil is over here. You got to understand the dangerous game being played right now. Bet they still got them launch codes. So let's watch it. Let's go.
Netanyahu was betting that when President Trump comes in, not only will the war spread, but the United States will go to war against Iran. That's the last one on Netanyahu's list that the United States hasn't fought so far. But what President Trump will hear from every country in the region, from the Saudis, from all of the countries in the Gulf, from Egypt, from Jordan, from the new government in Lebanon, from Turkey, and from Iran. Yes, from Iran. I know it because I hear it directly in my conversations with the leadership of that country. There can be peace. There can be normal relations with Israel.
Did he say peace? That's what this whole lesson was about. Did he say peace? Or what does the Most High say? Sudden destruction, and they shall not escape. Okay, so that's what's being fomented here from the top down, if you understand. But they're pushing this narrative that, oh, okay, well, Netanyahu was forced into a ceasefire, right? And everything's going to be all right. Donald Trump came in and saved the day. He even stopped the Ukraine war. It's all stopping at the same time. 2 days before Big Daddy come whooping ass. It's all too convenient, isn't it? But what about Ben Gavir and Smotrich and them codes? Because they're not happy about no damn ceasefire.
But only with a state of Palestine alongside Israel so that the region can go to peace. So this is what I'm really hoping, not just for a ceasefire in the next days, which would be wonderful news, but true peace in the Middle East. And I would like nothing.
Is he saying peace and safety? True peace in the middle. What is it? What's going to happen according to the scriptures? None of these shall fail.
More than.
And what does that mean? If Donald Trump is pushing peace and Ben Gavir, Smotrich, and Netanyahu are pushing genocide, which they've nearly completed, all they need is for Trump to sign off on a few more bombs and we can complete the mission, right? But what is he not going to do? The devil is divided against himself. Satan, divided against Satan, his kingdom shall.
The tremendous success of President Trump at the start of his administration to help guide, for the first time in decades, a real peace in the Middle East. But it requires that the United States exercise its own foreign policy to say to the Israelis, whether you like it or not, international law, the UN Security Council, the UN General Assembly, the G20, the BRICS, the Arab League, the Organization of Islamic Cooperation, the whole world is saying we want peace, no more of these wars on behalf of an untenable Israeli policy. If President Trump will do this, this would change history for the good. This would make the world tremendously safer. This would achieve peace in the Middle East. And it's not impossible that this could happen.
We may see a historic change sooner than we think because ministers Ben Gavir and Smotrich are threatening to resign from the Netanyahu government. As I understand it, that might bring him under the 61 votes he needs in the Knesset, which will collapse his government and force elections in Israel.
People should understand who Ben Gvir and Smotrich are. They are not only core to Netanyahu's government right now, they are complete extremists. They are the ones that say, without.
Sachs didn't stop there. He doubled down on his accusation of genocide in Gaza, pointing the finger squarely at the deep state, which he claims has perpetuated the bloodshed despite widespread international condemnation and even an ICC arrest warrant for Netanyahu. The word genocide is a loaded term, and its application to Gaza is fiercely debated. However, the sheer scale of destruction, the disproportionate use of force, and the targeting of civilian infrastructure in repeated Israeli military campaigns have led many, including Sachs, to use it. For him, this isn't just about semantics. It's about holding powerful actors accountable for policies that have devastated an entire population. The historical context here is vital. Since its creation in 1948, Israel has justified its actions as necessary for its survival, invoking the Holocaust as a moral shield against criticism. While this narrative has garnered immense sympathy and support, particularly in the United States, it has also been used to deflect scrutiny of its treatment of Palestinians. Sachs's argument that the deep state and the Israeli lobby have manipulated US foreign policy to serve Israel's interests at the expense of broader regional stability challenges, a long-standing pillar of American-Israeli relations. For decades, US presidents have walked a tightrope, balancing support for Israel with the need to maintain alliances with Arab states. Trump's decision to push back against this dynamic, as Sachs sees it, represents a potential turning point. Trump sharing Sachs's video wasn't just a moment of personal drama between two political heavyweights, it was a signal. By amplifying Sachs's critique of Netanyahu, Trump made it clear that he's willing to break with traditional US deference to Israel. This has far-reaching implications. For Israel, it raises the specter of losing its most powerful allies' unconditional support. For the Middle East, it opens the door to a new balance of power, one where countries like Iran might gain more influence. And for Palestinians, it offers a glimmer of hope that their plight is finally being recognized on the world stage, even if only indirectly. Yet, the question remains, was this ceasefire a genuine step towards peace, or just another pause in an endless cycle of violence? Sachs's argument that Trump has demonstrated a willingness to challenge Israeli extremist antics is compelling, but the reality is that the underlying issues remain unresolved. The occupation, the blockade of Gaza, the expansion of settlements, none of these have been addressed in any meaningful way. Without...
Boom. There it is. Nothing. Peace. What peace? People have been being murdered for centuries. Coming up on 70. Nakba. 75. And even before that. Come on.
None of these have been addressed in any meaningful way. Without tackling these root causes, any ceasefire is likely to be temporary at best. Sachs' comments, and Trump's apparent alignment with them, might represent a crack in the armor of US-Israeli relations. But what
might do what? The devil is divided against himself. Okay, listen to that one more time.
US-Israeli relations.
Oh, that was it. Back right here.
Any ceasefire is likely to be temporary at best. Sachs' comments, and Trump's apparent alignment with them, might represent a crack in the armor of US-Israeli relations. But whether this will lead to lasting change is far from certain. What is clear, however, is that the conversation is shifting. Voices like Sachs challenging the status quo and forcing uncomfortable questions are becoming harder to ignore. And in a region where silence has often meant complicity, that might just be the first step towards a new chapter.
And that's on point. That's how we'll go out. We'll get this. Who's going to win the Middle East war? Well, let's find out what the scripture says. And I'll just cut to the chase. then shall, where am I? And then, 2nd Ezra is 1531. And then shall the dragons have the upper hand. Who are the dragons? The Arab nations. Who's going to win? The Arab nation. Who are the Carmanians? With them. With them. Carmanians are with them. With who? With the Arab. The wild boars are with who? With them. Who is them? The Arab. The dragon. Dragons and the boars are together. Then shall the dragons have the who won? The dragons and the wild boar. Then shall the dragons have the upper. Who are the dragons? With them. The Carmanians are with. The boars are with the dragons. Confused yet? That's who's going to win. And who's going to flee? Right? Who's that? The Assyrians. Those brothers that are fighting right now. Who are the Assyrians? That tag team, Big Satan, Little Satan, that are fighting each other right now and losing their kingdom. They can't win. They're fighting. The Assyrians are fighting each other and being set up right now in their own land. Right? They done set up the ambushes right here in Babylon the Great. 2nd Ezra 15 and 33. And from the land of the Assyrians right here shall the enemy besiege. They're threatening 10 different cities, suitcase nukes coming up here. And from the land of the Assyrians shall the enemies besiege them and consume some of them. See that? They're threatening 10 cities worth of nukes. And they got caterpillars, right? Men like caterpillars lying in wait. And in their host shall be fear and dread and strife among their kings. Who's their host? Their militaries, right? Who are about to be sent away overseas. And strife among them. They get scared over here. They fighting each other, striving. Trump against who? Trump and Elon against Obama, Pelosi, and Newscomb. I'm gonna leave it right there. We hope that the elect are edified. Keep your eye on the war. It's not going nowhere. Ain't no ceasefire. All right, this is World War III. We hope the elect are edified. Shalom.